Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening. Aside from the fact that they were playing volleyball, they had to play against 12th graders. It was obvious that this was bullying. Even Vivian could feel her confidence waning. At this moment, she looked at Nicole and whispered, "Nicole, they have ill intentions. Rain is clearly coming after you. Please don't bring any of us down together with you." Nicole rolled her eyes and said, "Don't worry, I won't drag any of you down with me." It was only then did Vivian pipe down somewhat. However, the teacher was dead set in his ways. "You girls, form a group. Have a set with your seniors first." The teacher then pointed at Nicole, the class representative, Lulu, June and Vivian's general direction. At that instant, Vivian's expression changed. "It can't be right. I'm in too." She did not play volleyball at all. "Of course." "Hurry up," the teacher said, and called another girl over to create a team of 5 before sending them into the court. Seeing Nicole on the court, Rain became very excited. She had been rearing to challenge Nicole and did not expect the teacher to be so accommodating by sending Nicole in for the first game. She would definitely not miss this golden opportunity to make a fool out of Nicole. Now in the court, Rain flashed them a fake smile. "Don't worry, we'll go easy on you." Nicole looked at Rain and spat back coldly, "I won't be so certain as to who's going to go easy on who." When Rain heard that, her expression darkened. "Come and try then." As she said that, she leaped up high and launched the ball directly at Nicole. "Watch out." Seeing that Rain had spiked the ball with great strength, Lulu shot Nicole a look of worry. Yet, the latter was totally unfazed as she held her own and gathered her strength, sending the ball straight back into the air. The ball immediately bounced upwards and was at an unusually high height. "Oh my, she has quite the strength." The teacher yelled, for he was taken aback. Even Rain's friends were stunned, but it was then that the ball plummeted toward Nicole's side of the court. Rain sneered. "So what if she possesses great strength? What use is it if the ball fails to land on the opposing side?" She wanted to let Gary see for himself who was the better person today. And just as Rain remained conceited, Nicole suddenly leaped up. She took aim at the ball that then fell before her and spiked it hard, getting everyone to hear a loud bang. Before Rain could even react, the trajectory of the ball changed and cannonballed toward Rain's face. What followed was a shrill scream. "Ah!" This prompted everyone at the court to turn their heads around. Then, what they saw was the ball smashing right into Rain's face, and as her eyes rolled into the back of her skull, blood spurted out of her nose. She then crashed onto the ground with much force. Due to the power of the spike, the volleyball rebounded into the net before falling to the ground with a thud, after which there was deafening silence. No one had expected her move to be so powerful. And what was even less expected was the fact that Rain's eyes had rolled back after she had fallen onto the ground as she laid there motionless with a bleeding nose. The atmosphere froze for a good few seconds before the crowd rushed over and surrounded Rain. "Rain! Rain, are you all right?" Rain's clique hurried over. However, she was already unconscious by then. The teacher too was appalled as he ran over and carried Rain up to the infirmary. At that moment, both Lulu and June were left dumbstruck. Bradley rushed over to Nicole's side. "Holy moly, Nicole. That was awesome. Your spike was far better than theirs." That was the 12th grade women's volleyball team that had represented the school in many games. No one expected Nicole would knock Rain out with just a single spike. At that point, it was clear that she outclassed her opponents in terms of skill. Yet, all Nicole did was put her hands in her pocket as her demeanor turned cold. "I don't know how to play volleyball. I just learned that on the spot." Nah, that can't be right." The instant they heard that Nicole did not know how to play volleyball, Lulu, Bradley and the others were all taken aback. "But you just..." Bradley said in surprise. But before he could finish the sentence, Nicole shot him a glance. "It's just a move I've picked up from Rain. Well, at least this set is done now." She really did not know how to play volleyball, nor did she wish to. Moreover, She never wanted to rope Lulu and the rest of them into this mess. Thus, the best way out of that predicament was to take Rain out of action in a single move, which she managed to pull off. Then, Nicole turned around and headed back to class. "Let's go back to class." Seeing that, all of the boys in the class looked at Nicole and instinctively took a step back. Meanwhile, Jack looked on in astonishment as Nicole led Lulu and her cohort past them. "Boss, did you see that just now? Nicole's strength is out of this world, don't you think?" "Yeah, she's even so good, even at volleyball. Damn, she's scary. Is there anything she can't do?" Wayne commented in shock. The two then looked back at Gary, who was silent. "Nicole never ceases to surprise me. She seems to be capable of anything." He suddenly recalled her words the other day, and that was when he realized that he might really not understand her at all. Although the odds were tiny, there might be a possibility that Nicole did not need his help with computers to begin with. Shaking his head, Gary left the court with a glum look on his face. And just like that, the little fracas during PE class was over. By the afternoon, however, the school forum was flooded with pictures of Rain's bloodied face after the volleyball had smashed into it, and Nicole's name once again caused an uproar in school. With Rain being made to look like a fool, Snow was affected as well, with many people coming to ask her about the incident. So, Snow had to make her way to the infirmary to ask Rain about everything that had happened. Rain's nose was swollen and wrapped in gauze, her face looking totally miserable. The moment she saw Snow, Rain flew into a tirade. "Snow, Nicole bullied the hell out of me. You must get back at her for me." She had just wanted to teach Nicole a lesson today, but unfortunately for her, she ended up at the receiving end of one. She was utterly humiliated. "What's the matter with you? Weren't we warned not to mess with her at school?" Who is Nicole now? That's right. Grandpa's favorite granddaughter. Even Uncle Damien's family needs to kowtow to Uncle Daniel's family now, and so do we. "I just couldn't stand seeing her hurt, Gary," Rain said as a pained look appeared in her eyes. In response, Snow snorted. "It's time to wake up, silly. When has Gary set eyes on you ever since Nicole made an appearance? Are you still pining over him?" "That's because Nicole tried to seduce Gary by joining the competition with him," Rain hissed. "I don't care. I'll make Nicole pay for this." "So what if everyone is kissing up to her now? It'll be fine if no one sees me," she thought. Snow proceeded to give Rain a look of defeat. "You are hopeless. Do what you want. Just don't get me involved." After saying that, Snow turned around and left, leaving Rain to stand there in a daze. "Even Snow doesn't care about me now," she seethed. "It's all Nicole's fault. I'll kill her if that's the last thing I do." After school, Nicole, Lulu and June walked out of the classroom and descended the flight of steps to head home. As she thought about how Nicole was about to catch her ride home soon, Lulu lamented, "I really miss the days when you stayed in the dormitory with us. It's just the two of us this semester. It's so lonely." Although no one dared to bully them anymore because of their friendship with Nicole, they felt very lonely without Nicole around. It's better to be lonely. The last semester has been nothing but chaotic. Nicole replied, knowing that most of the chaos was because of her, and that the two of them would do much better this semester. "It is, but we do miss you a lot." June smiled as she looked at Nicole with an expression of sincerity. "I'll go to the dorm to look for you two when I have the time." Nicole relented in an attempt to comfort them. By then, the three of them had walked out of the class building. Lulu then waved at Nicole. "That's a promise. Go on home now." "Yeah." Nicole nodded and turned toward away. And just then, she suddenly sensed that something was falling from above. She instinctively looked up, and that was when she saw a flower pot plummeting toward Lulu. "Lulu!" Nicole exclaimed. Lulu turned around, and before she could even react, Nicole shoved her aside. The falling flower pot struck Nicole square on the shoulder, prompting her to let out a muffled grunt as she rolled onto the ground together with Lulu. "Ugh." June was shocked, and when she saw Nicole falling, she immediately rushed toward her. "Nicole. Lulu. Are you all right?" She then looked up, just to see no one on the 2nd to the 7th floor. "Who did that?" June roared. "Show yourself, coward." Lulu, who noticed that Nicole was not looking right, said, "June, Nicole is probably hurt. Let's get to the infirmary." Nicole, however, shook her head as she moved her shoulder. "Just a minor injury. I'll deal with it back at home." "Huh? No, can't do, that's a flower pot, you know." "Yeah, we don't know which floor it had fallen from either." If it was any other person, their shoulder would be in so much pain that they would not be able to do much after that at all. However, Nicole just shook her head as though the pot had barely done any sort of damage to her. "It's fine. I'll go home first. Take care on your way back." She did not want them to get hurt again. "Okay, don't worry about us," Lulu said. "Right." Nicole nodded and walked out of school, pretending as though nothing had happened. No matter who the culprit was, she would not find anything even if she headed up there now. It would be wiser if she headed home and hacked into the school's computer system to discover who was behind that assault. Just when Spencer and Samuel saw Nicole walking out from school, they immediately waved at her. "Nicole, over here." Nicole took a deep breath, not wanting her family to know about anything that had happened just now. Then, she quietly activated the beacon, hoping that it could relieve the pain and heal her up quickly. However, just as Nicole was about to enter the car, Samuel pulled her arm. "Hurry up and get in. Get dressed and get yourself dolled up. Don't be late for the dinner." Nicole endured the stinging pain, but it was then that her face turned a little pale. Noticing that something was not right with Nicole, Spencer immediately told Samuel, "Let Nicole go. Something is wrong with her." Samuel was stunned for a few seconds, whereupon he turned around and looked at Nicole. "What's the matter?" Nicole took a deep breath. "I'm fine. Just feeling a little unwell." She chose to not tell them the truth, as she did not want her brothers to get all worried over something she considered trivial. Noticing that Nicole was indeed feeling unwell, Samuel and Spencer gently helped her into the car in a hurry. As for Nicole, she avoided any contact and movements with her shoulder, planning to treat it once she got home. Deep down, however, she was cursing at the predicament she was in. Crap, I've forgotten that the dinner is today. If there's a bruise, how am I supposed to wear a dress? After Samuel and Spencer had gotten into the car, the driver quickly drove back them to the Riddle residence, where everyone was busy dressing up. Upon arrival, Samuel and Spencer scattered to get their own change of clothes. Meanwhile, Nicole went straight upstairs after greeting her parents. There was not much time left for her to check the school's surveillance cameras, and so, she could only find a way to deal with her wound first. The second she took her coat off, she noticed that her shoulder was swollen and severely bruised. Even though the beacon could speed her recovery up, it would be impossible to remove all traces of the bruise, for the dinner would begin in 2 hours. Nicole pondered for a bit before grabbing the dress that Jared had given her, deciding to make some last-minute adjustments by stitching up the parts which would leave her shoulder exposed. Although it looked a little less sexy, it could cover the bruise well enough while maintaining the air of dignity. After she had taken care of that, the stylist her family had hired came upstairs to help her out with her hair, and when she went back to the living room downstairs, everyone stared at her. Even though Nicole was always beautiful, there would always be something different about it in each and every single occasion, and that was what drew the admiration of everyone around her. "You're really beautiful, Nicole." "Yeah, if only Nicole was my companion for tonight." Spencer sighed. "Dream on." Samuel rolled his eyes at him. The entire family broke into a fit of laughter. Samuel suddenly remembered something. "Nicole, what about our companions? Have you forgotten about it?" This was a big deal for them. Their brothers all had their own companions, and it would be quite unsightly if they did not have one themselves. The second Nicole saw the look of anticipation on Samuel and Spencer's faces, she smiled awkwardly. "I really did forget about it." This was the truth. She had intended to tell Lulu and June about this during PE class, but she had forgotten about it after the incident with Rain. "Huh? You've got to be kidding me." Spencer cried. "How can you forget something so important?" Samuel gave Nicole a distressed look. When Nicole saw the look of disappointment on their faces, she sniggered. "Don't worry, I did forget about it, but I've just sent a message to my classmates. They are preparing right now and will be there to meet us at the headquarters of Riddle Corporation." She had contacted both Lulu and June when the stylist was doing her hair. The two of them were so shocked they almost fell off their beds as they rushed off to their own homes to prepare. Judging by the hour they were in, they would be on a tight schedule, but there should be enough time for them to get themselves ready for the event. Upon hearing that, both Samuel and Spencer heaved a sigh of relief. "That's good. At least we won't look so out of place," Samuel said. Stanley then looked at twins as if to tease them. "Fortunately, I was quick." As he said that, he darted his eyes at Tia, who was walking down from the first floor. Stanley had carefully chosen a dress for Tia. Although it was nothing expensive, it suited Tia very well. Moreover, with Tia's air of purity and innocence, she looked quite ladylike in the garb. "How gorgeous!" Gloria praised as she beamed. "Tia, you sure are pretty. You look absolutely gorgeous after having put your makeup on." Nicole looked at Tia in surprise as well. "You should doll up like this more often." Tia was blushing under the gaze of Nicole and the men of the Riddle family. "Don't tease me like that, Miss Nicole." She was just an orphan whom Nicole had hired to take care of Mrs. Wallace Sr., and she felt honored enough for that. She had never expected that she would be given an opportunity to wear such dresses and become the companion of a young scion in an important banquet. "I'm not teasing you. You look really gorgeous." Nicole smiled warmly. It was only then that Tia felt that the praise was genuine as she flashed them a bashful smile. "Thank you, Miss Nicole, and also to Mr. Stanley for preparing this dress for me. If it were not for Stanley, she really would not have been given the opportunity to wear such a dress." "You're too kind. Being my companion is a far harder task, in my opinion." Stanley smiled and thanked her gently. Seeing that Stanley's companion was already present, Samuel pouted. He only felt a tad bit better when he noticed that Sean and Steve's companions were yet to be here. "If all of you are ready, let's go." Daniel looked at his watch and slowly got up. "All right." Gloria nodded as she walked forward while holding Daniel with their arms linked. Sean and Steve led the way in making way for their parents, with Nicole, Stanley, Samuel, and Spencer following along with Tia in tow. When Mrs. Wallace Sr. saw the family leaving in such a grand display of regality, she could not help but feel very happy for them. The night lights shone bright. At the ground level of the Riddle Corporation building, luxury cars were driving in one after another, with all of them stopping to drop their passengers before leaving. Although this was just an annual meeting, many individuals from respected families, regardless of whether they had cooperative ties with the Riddle family or not, attended in hopes of getting an opportunity to forge partnerships with the Riddle Corporation due to the current status of the Riddles. As soon as the cars ferrying the Riddle family stopped, many in the crowd exclaimed in hushed voices, "Look! That's the car of the daughter of the Riddle family, Nicole." Everyone looked over, only to see a Lincoln limousine halting. The first to step out were Sean and Steve, and when the two handsome young men had gotten out of the car, many ladies exclaimed, "Wow, how fetchingly handsome. I heard that they are Nicole's brothers, and she has 5 of them. All of her brothers are outstanding individuals." As the crowd gossiped among themselves, Daniel and Gloria got out with the help of Sean and Steve. The moment the crowd saw the middle-aged yet dashing Daniel and Gloria, who had an air of elegance about her, everyone was taken aback. "So, that's why the sons are so handsome. The parents are equally as good-looking." As they said that, Samuel and Spencer got out of the car one after another. They were as suave as their elder brothers, and their appearance immediately drew quite a lot of screams from the crowd. "My goodness! The Riddle brothers are all absolute babes. They are so handsome." "I know, right?" This was the first time Samuel and Spencer had attended this occasion, and when they heard the comments, they felt pumped up. "Thank goodness we're handsome and haven't done anything particularly disgraceful. Not bad. Not bad at all." After that, Nicole began to step out of the car. Her beautiful visage, even with just minute amounts of makeup applied, was enough to stun everyone present. At that instant, the men were not the only ones gawking at her, for even the ladies began to join in as well. "That's Nicole Riddle? She's too pretty." "Yeah, she's so gorgeous." Unfortunately, when Nicole got out of the car, she accidentally lost her balance. When Spencer and Samuel saw that, they immediately propped her up with their hands on both sides while Stanley spun around and gave her a look of concern. Even Sean and Steve took a step back to help her out. "You all right?" With all of her brother's eyes on her, Nicole was a little flustered. "Can I not be?" However, it was then that all of the women around them began to jeer and scream out of envy at once. "Whoa! Being doted on by so many handsome men? I'm so jealous. Yeah, I want to have many handsome brothers too." These voices streamed in one after another, and everyone began to feel jealous of Nicole. Nicole ignored the voices, looked at her brothers, and shook her head. "I'm fine. I'm just not used to wearing high heels." It was only then that her brothers heaved a sigh of relief. Samuel then smiled. "Hold on to me then." As expected, that smile from him brought forth another wave of shrill squeals from the women around him. "So handsome. What a bright smile." Seeing that, Samuel could only feel proud of himself. Nicole instantly knew what he was thinking and rolled her eyes. "There's no need for that. Tia can help me." At that moment, Tia got out of the car, and when she heard what Nicole had said, she immediately rushed over. "Yes, Miss Nicole can hold on to me, Mr. Samuel." "Oh," Samuel said, suddenly looking a little dejected. It would be really cool if he could go in together with Nicole. Spencer rolled his eyes at Samuel at that instant. "You can keep dreaming on about going in with Nicole." Right after that, he grabbed Samuel and the twins left the place together. When Nicole saw the two acting the way they were, she could hardly withhold her snigger. Soon after, the Riddle family stepped into the banquet hall together, under the gaze of everyone present. Although it was an annual meeting, the Riddle Corporation had anticipated a large number of attendees, so the preparations were exceedingly lavish and decadent. The venue in question was even much grander than the banquet at the Riddle's residence, with all kinds of glass lamps, fresh flowers, desserts, and the likes. Within the banquet, many individuals from the various great families, as well as elites from the major businesses, were already gathered there. It would not be frowned upon for them to discuss business in the banquet, as everyone came here with benefits in mind. Because of this, everyone was dressed to the nines, for fear of losing out to others. Both Damien and Dylan's family, after such a long period of underestimating Daniel's family, and fearing that they would lose out when compared to the latter, were dressed even more decadently. Damien, in particular, did so as if he wanted to flaunt his status, to tell everyone that he was the interim chairman of the corporation. Yet, just as he was chatting up to the VIPs in the room, a sudden commotion erupted at the entrance. As soon as that occurred, the person he was talking to said, "Excuse me, Mr. Damien. I'll head over there for a bit." Damien instinctively turned around to look over, and that was when he saw Daniel appearing at the entrance with his family. At that point, his calm eyes could no longer hide the jealousy within him as a storm of envy and anger brewed. Miley quipped, "Look at Daniel's family. Before this, they did not even have the right to attend events like these, and now he brings his entire family. This is a blatant provocation." This time, however, Damien did not admonish Miley. And the VVIP who had just ignored him so abruptly earlier had gone off to shake hands with Daniel and Sean. His fists were clenched tight at the sight of that. Noticing his father's furious look, Everett came up to his side and whispered, "Dad, don't get agitated. Grandpa still needs you to mingle around with the folks near him." It was only then that Damien regained some degree of clarity, and when he saw a crowd around Mr. Riddle Sr., he left that VVIP behind, recomposed himself, and accompanied the old man. Even if no one recognized him now, the old man was here, and as the person in charge of the company, Damien could not afford to lose the trust of the old man at this juncture. Over on the other side, Dylan and his wife too were being ignored. When they saw Nicole and her family members being surrounded by the socialites and business elites, they were pissed off. Karen, in particular, spat angrily, "Do you see how gleeful Gloria is? If you don't think of a way, you'll really be nothing in this company." In response, Dylan growled, "You think I don't want to? It was a shame that you couldn't give birth to more. All of their sons are talented people. You think we can challenge them with our 2 girls? Preston isn't even in the same boat as us." Karen was at a loss for words in the face of Dylan's tirade, and at that exact moment, she saw from her periphery that Preston had walked over to greet Nicole. That brat. Does he even consider us family? It's as if Nicole is his own sister. Arg, that really pisses me off. Snow and Rain were even more livid. They could only see that Nicole's brothers were doting on her, and that Preston had decided to join in as well. At that point, they could not help but wonder if Preston was their own brother. Preston brought a beautiful woman up to Nicole as he deliberately teased, "Nicole, don't you have a partner tonight?" In response, she smiled back. "Of course I do, he's just not here yet." With Preston's reminder, Samuel and Spencer immediately turned to Nicole. "Nicole, what about our companions?" Nicole let out a playful smirk before turning her head to face Lulu and June's general direction. The 2 were pushing each other shyly, wanting the other to go over first. So when she saw Nicole looking over, Lulu could only bite the bullet and bring June over. The moment Spencer and Samuel saw June and Lulu, the 2 boys were stunned. The last time they met was when they had lunch together at the mall, and they had never thought that the 2 girls would be so beautiful after a round of dolling up, and they were no lesser than the other ladies present. Nicole's taste sure is exquisite. Seeing that Lulu and June were standing before her, not knowing what to say, Nicole smiled. "June, I'll leave Samuel in your care today, and Lulu, I'll leave Spencer to you." The way she spoke was as if she was their wingwoman. June immediately bloomed within as she could not help but think, "Atta girl Nicole." The second Lulu saw Spencer, she became a little nervous and looked down shyly. "Got it. I'll be in your care today." Spencer was very gentlemanly. "I'll be in your care today too." Samuel then happily said to June, "Come, let's go get something to eat." He did not want to just stand here awkwardly, so he decided that it would be better if they found something to do. "Ah, okay." June immediately followed after him, after which the pair ambled off to get some desserts together. Noticing that the duo had walked off to get something to eat, Spencer could not help but tease, "Weirdly enough, the both of them do look like a couple. You sure have good taste, Nicole." Nicole smiled playfully. "I sure do. You and Lulu are a fitting pair too." Once those words were uttered, Lulu became so embarrassed that her face turned purple. "Nicole, don't make fun of me." Spencer too was a little bashful. He then coughed and said, "Let's go then. I'll get a drink for you." "Oh, okay," Lulu replied, after which she gave Nicole an awkward look before leaving with Spencer. When Preston saw Nicole's arrangement, he flashed her a knowing smile. "Woo, these 2 girls are interested in Samuel and Spencer? You aren't thinking of..." Nicole turned around and glared at Preston, saying, "A wise man sees through things but speaks none of it." Preston immediately understood what she meant and shut his mouth. In the meantime, Sean, Steve and Stanley were surrounded by the company's clients, and their parents too were busy entertaining the guests. Nicole had initially wanted to find a place to catch a breather, but her keen ears soon registered another small commotion at the entrance. Instinctively, she turned around, and sure enough, it was Jared. It was really not a good idea for a man to be too handsome, as he would attract the attention of many women wherever he was, every single time. And as always, he would saunter toward her under the gaze of everyone present, dialing the jealousy and hostility those women had toward her to 11. As expected, Jared came up to her a few seconds later, whereupon he took her hand and kissed it. "Sorry I'm late, honey." The last word that came out of his mouth sent shivers down Nicole's spine. This guy. It has been either wifey or honey of late. This is so embarrassing. "You're not allowed to call me that," she said. "Got it, wifey." Jared relented as he lowered his voice. Nicole rolled her eyes at once. "Forget it. Go with the first one then. At least it's better than being called wifey," she thought. With that said, Jared grabbed Nicole by the waist as he nodded at Daniel, Sean and the others. "I'm sorry, Mr. Daniel, for being late." "It's all right." Daniel smiled without a hint of dissatisfaction toward Jared. Concurrently, Mr. Johnston Sr. too came in from the entrance and made a beeline for Mr. Riddle Sr. Mr. Riddle Sr. immediately greeted him. "Oh my, this is just our annual meeting. You don't have to attend this." Although everyone here was a VIP, it was still, after all, the Riddle Corporation's annual meeting, so most of those who had attended were from the younger generation. No one had expected Mr. Johnston Sr. to honor the hosts like that. "This is just basic courtesy. I too miss seeing my in-laws." Mr. Johnston Sr. smiled at Mr. Riddle Sr. as he brought the latter to one of the seats. When he saw Damien standing by Mr. Riddle Sr.'s side, Mr. Johnston Sr. was quite surprised. "That granddaughter of yours, Nicole, is currently a rising star. Why don't you keep her by your side?" Damien's pride took another beating upon hearing Mr. Johnston Sr.'s words, but he could not afford to show his dismay, so he gave them an awkward smile. "Nicole and Mr. Jared are always together, so I'm handing things over here." Seeing that Damien knew his place, Mr. Johnston Sr. remained silent, knowing that what Damien said made sense as well. At that instant, Nicole and Jared were surrounded by many who wanted to form collaborations with them. As one was the head of the Johnston Group, and the other was the daughter of the Riddle family and bearer of the Fire Crest, they became the object of everyone's pursuit. Nicole had never dealt with so many people before, and because of that, she became a little anxious. Seeing that, Sean and Daniel came over to help her out. Nicole then told Jared, "Go deal with them." After she had said that, she snuck off to the side to grab herself a few bites of food. At the same time, Tia was having a meal with Stanley. Nicole approached her as Stanley was handing the latter a champagne. "Give it a taste." "Okay," Tia uttered, flattered by the gesture. Seeing Stanley being so considerate, Nicole could not resist raising an eyebrow. Stanley is rarely so gentle with people. This embarrassed Stanley, who said, "Nothing like that. This is the first time Tia is attending such an event and she's just too nervous. Some alcohol will calm her nerves." Nicole simply just smiled, and that was when she saw Martin walking in together with Kelly. She had forgotten that Martin and Kelly would definitely attend such business-related banquets. Martin walked over and was stunned the moment he saw Nicole. However, Kelly was even quicker to react. "My goodness, Nicole. You're looking way too gorgeous. You look so good in every style. How do you do that? I'm so jealous." Nicole took the praise as she looked at Kelly's elegant black dress and said, "You look really good too. Matches Martin pretty well." When Tia heard that, her expression became a little sour as she subconsciously glanced at Martin again. "Mr. Wyance, it has been a while." Stanley walked up to Martin and greeted him. Martin nodded. "Yeah, it has indeed been some time." After shaking hands with Stanley, Martin saw Tia standing next to him and could not help but be taken aback. Martin had only met Tia a few times, but this time, she had become Stanley's companion, and was so elegantly dressed that the sight had managed to even stun him. When Kelly noticed that, she elbowed him. "What are you doing, staring at another man's companion like that?" It was only then that Martin snapped back to reality as he quickly said, "It's nothing. I just feel that Tia looks really beautiful today." Tia immediately blushed a little when she heard that. Thank you." Nicole looked at Martin and swirled her wine glass. "What's with the smooth talk today?" In the past, Martin would never have said such things to women. So, Nicole could not help herself from giving the two a strange glance. Finding himself in an awkward position, Martin said, "No such thing. I always have been a smooth operator." The few were chatting when they saw Harvey walking in from the entrance. After all, Harvey had business with the Riddle Corporation, so it made sense that he would definitely attend the annual meeting of the Riddle Corporation. However, he did not even look at Nicole as he went straight to Sean after stepping into the venue. When Nicole noticed that, she breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that he had finally gotten her words into his head. Yet, for all she knew, the moment she turned around to take a seat, Harvey immediately cast his gaze over to her. He had only known how he had been in the past few days. He had been absent since the start of the semester and thought that Nicole would be somewhat concerned about him. Yet, she had not even given him a call. When he finally realized that he had no place in a certain someone's heart, that feeling drove him crazy. Sean felt uneasy looking at his gaze. "Mr. Ellison, what are you looking at?" Harvey shifted his gaze as he smiled self-deprecatingly. "Degree nothing." His smile was still warm and courteous, but Sean could register a certain darkness in Harvey's eyes. For a long time, he had felt that Harvey was not as simple as he turned out to be, and he had always felt that there was a storm brewing under his humble and polite facade. It was only because he was often with Nicole that this inexplicable darkness could not be felt. But in that instant, he could see a beast in Harvey's eyes, rearing to break out of its cage. That feeling made Sean perturbed. "Now that the Riddle Corporation is hot and blooming, I suppose you can look forward to a promotion soon, Mr. Sean," Harvey commented. Harvey had already gotten wind of how prominent Daniel and Sean had been in the Riddle Corporation of late, and he felt that this year's annual meeting would not be that simple. Sean flashed him a light smirk before he politely replied, "That's up to Grandpa. I just make sure that I do a good job." He was no Harvey Ellison, but he had heard, by chance, that Harvey had done many things behind Mr. Ellison's back. Harvey let out a coy smile. "I'm impressed by your level-headedness, Mr. Sean. Please remember to buy me a drink when you've snagged that promotion." "Sure." Sean nodded. Harvey could see Sean's subtle dismissal of him, so he turned to look elsewhere. "Excuse me then." After that, Harvey walked off to greet Mr. Riddle Sr. Sean could not help but to glance at Harvey a few more times. He felt that Harvey had returned to his previous state of inscrutability, and that the darkness he had always carried was even more pronounced than before. The annual meetings banquet had come to its climax as Jared coolly stood by Nicole's side the entire time. All eyes were on them. Meanwhile, Daniel's family was busy focusing on the banquet's attendees, with countless of people swarming them. The annual meeting was almost coming to an end, and Mr. Riddle Sr. was due to give his concluding speech. All eyes were on Mr. Riddle Sr. as he walked up the stage. It was everyone's assumption that this year's annual meeting was no different from the previous years. Mr. Riddle Sr. paused for a moment before he said, "At the end of tonight's annual meeting, I would like to make an important announcement to everyone." His steady tone of voice attracted everyone's attention at once. Damien's heart skipped a beat as Miley hurriedly asked, "What's going on? What is he going to announce? Did he tell you anything in advance?" "No," Damien said as his face brimmed with bitterness. Miley became unsettled, as an inexplicable feeling of dread began to flood her heart. At this time, Dylan went up to them, and in a tone of urgency, he asked, "Damien, what's he going to announce? Do you know? Why haven't I heard anything about it?" Damien was immediately annoyed. "How am I supposed to know?" Taken aback by the sudden outburst, Dylan fell silent, with Karen not daring to utter a word even if she wanted to. Then, Mr. Riddle Sr. took a glance at the four of his sons, whereupon his eyes fell on Daniel. "Daniel, come up here," he said. Daniel was stunned for a moment, and quickly, he scrambled up onto the stage, prompting everyone to turn their attention to him. Gloria and her sons sensed that something was going to happen, as they looked at Daniel with eyes full of hope. Nicole was also a little surprised too, but due to the fact that she had guessed Mr. Riddle Sr.'s intention, a smile broke out on the corner of her lips. "I've never thought that he would prepare such a grand surprise," she commented. Jared raised his eyebrows. "It seems that it's going to be a very big one." And sure enough, after Mr. Riddle Sr. had patted Daniel on his shoulder, he said, "I'm announcing to you that, starting from today, my fourth son, Daniel Riddle, will become the new chairman of the company." As soon as these words came out, the audience was taken aback, and not long after, a thunderous round of applause erupted. Everyone at the event knew that the fourth son of the Riddle family had gotten lucky due to the help from their daughter. When Daniel assumed the position of chairman, the potential of attracting more big companies would be larger. The applause was deafening, and the expression on the faces of Damien and Miley were as cold as their hearts. Their eyes were bulging like a deer caught in headlights. What did he mean by that? Is he going to dismiss you? Miley asked. I haven't stepped down as chairman, and now there's a new one. What the hell is this supposed to mean? Damien fumed. Dylan did not see this coming either, the annual meeting turning into Daniel's inauguration ceremony. I've been in the company for so long and I'm just a general manager on the same level as Sean. How did he, who played nothing but a minor role in the company, get to be the chairman overnight? What's the difference between the making him chairman and announcing that he will be the successor of the Riddle Corporation in the future? Dylan seethed. It was the most depressing piece of news for both Damien and Dylan, but it did not take Mr. Riddle Sr. long to ask everyone to stop applauding. In addition, I would also like to announce that my grandson, Sean, will also be promoted from general manager to the company's president. Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.